What is up, beautiful people? How's your weekend? How's everyone doing? Are you guys ready for another fun, excited week coming up? Future, lots of fun stocks still coming up with earnings report yet to come out. Some of the examples as you guys can look at the thumbnail, that's the word I'm looking for. The thumbnail: Uber, Palantir, Spotify, Pinterest, all to come out this week. I'll show you what else is left to come out for this week. We got a lot of stocks that already reported last week, mainly the big tech reporting last week. So we'll take a look at those stocks to see if any fun stocks or any fun trades will show up over there. But mainly the point of this stream over here today is to get deeper into our conversation that we were on Thursday, the Bella Scalp strategy. But including the Bella Scalp strategy, I wanted to add something else to it, something that could give us the best trades, at least something that I found to be giving me the best trades if I'm looking for the Bella Scalp long or the Bella Scalp short. So this weekend I spent a good bit of my time kind of back testing, make sure the mic is muted or unmuted. Yes, the mic is unmuted. Spent a good time with this weekend, back testing, kind of going through my scanners, building my scanner, setting it up and so on, talking to Dieter for quite a bit of last night, and then finally last night I had this like eureka moment where everything cracked in, and then I started back testing the scanner, started going back day by day, and started looking at the trades that popped up. Some trades were great, some trades weren't so great. Started looking at seeing what the nuances were as to why some trades were good, some trades weren't good, and kind of was able to build a playbook off of that scanner over the weekend. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about that playbook that we built over the weekend. I'm very excited to see how trades set up going forward, and especially I think with the earnings season, with the market at nearly all-time highs or pretty much at all-time highs, with a lot of stocks at all-time highs or heading towards the highs at the moment, gapping up and gapping down. The scanner that I have built is in my opinion, going to be very useful and help us catch the big moves that we're looking for, and hopefully it sets up that way. So why don't we talk deeper and more in depth about a scanner today. Today's stream, I don't really have too much to really talk about. I mean, we could talk about the watch list and the stocks that already reported, or kind of chart for some of the movers for coming up tomorrow, like Palantir, McDonald's, Caterpillar, that are reporting in pre-market and after hours or so on. But I think more important, we'll be waiting to see what happens in pre-market, how these stocks react in pre-market. If any of the stocks that already reported last week help us in the pre-market by bringing in some volume, stocks like Apple, Amazon, Meta. I see TH in the chat saying Amazon most likely going to be getting most of the attention this week. I mean, I don't doubt it. I do have Amazon in the watch list along with Meta. Meta got a lot of the attention last Friday. So pretty interested to see how Meta goes. I mean, it was 26% up on the day. Monster move on Meta. A lot of the people that I know absolutely smoked Meta, so congratulations to some of the traders that I know. I think I had Meta as my number 2 trade on the day. My number 1 trade, if I believe, was QQQs. If I remember correctly, I can't remember, but my number 2 trade was Meta long. Was awesome day so far, but boy oh boy, what a missed opportunity on Meta, because I did not believe Meta was gonna do that. Just did not think Meta was gonna have that big of a move in it. Monster move. But let's go show you what's on board for coming up this week. This week, Monday, starting with the pre-market: Caterpillar, McDonald's, EL, Estee Lauder, ST Lauder, however you say that, coming up. Allegiant, ALGT also coming up. TSN, I'm pretty sure that's a food company, Tyson Foods. After hours, we got Palantir. Tuesday, pre-market: Eli Lilly, Spotify. After hours, we got Ford, Chipotle, however, a little bit expensive for most people to trade. ELF, Elf Beauty, Snapchat. Wednesday, Alibaba, PayPal, Uber, Walt Disney, CVS, ARM, Semiconductors, Wynn Resorts. Thursday, not really that exciting, but Thursday after hours is a little bit more exciting than the pre-market. We got Affirm, Pinterest, Cloudflare, and then we got Pepsi, Canopy Growth, Enbridge, which is a Canadian company, TELUS, all of which are coming up Friday pre-market. Nothing usually reports on Friday after hours. So that basically is your board for all of this week, the week of February 5th. A little bit busy, not as busy as last week, but a little bit busy. Some hidden names over here for this week, such as Mattel. Mattel's a good company to usually watch out for on earnings week. They move around and give you some good trades. Hertz is also something that's been moving around recently, so possibly some trades over there that could set up for us. Maybe Chegg is a hidden name over there. Roblox, can't forget Roblox with the gaming industry moving around all the time. And maybe some other hidden names over here, like maybe Bill. Not sure if Bill moves around as much as I thought it does anymore, but Bill has, I remember Bill. Take Two, as we were talking about gaming. PetMed, wow, I remember trading that thing. That's like a $2 $3 stock now. Yeah, $6 stock now. I remember trading the stock back in the day. Chipotle on Tuesday looks interesting. Yeah, but it's like $2,000. Who's really trading the stock? Who's really trading this position as a day trade? It's gonna be a hard one to be day trading this one. Near all-time highs though. Shout out to the position for Chicago. Once you saw, like we said, it's on when is it? On Tuesday after hours. And the stocks that have already reported that are pretty much going to be on the watch list for tomorrow. I'm going to see which ones move around in pre-market and then kind of make my watch list accordingly to that. But quickly should show you guys what's on the watch list from the earnings stocks that reported last week. Apple, Amazon, Meta, Altation. I don't know how to say it, but Team, Microsoft, AMD, Google, Qualcomm, SMCI, Netflix, and Tesla basically reported last week, or sorry, 2 weeks before that, but they're still a little bit of in the movers, so I have them. And then last but not least, I have some of the movers that are important for me in tomorrow pre-market. So that's small little watch lists, and then based on how they move around in pre-market, I'll kind of put the importance, put the notes, put the levels, and so on in the pre-market for myself. Not really gonna bother with throwing out levels on stocks like Caterpillar right now as they report in pre-market. However, most of these stocks are near all-time high, like Caterpillar. McDonald's has made a monumental reversal after the whole Ozempic pill crisis that it was bringing in. I think not only McDonald's was suffering through that, Walmart, Wendy's. I forget if Wendy's was a ticker. It is, right? Yeah, WEN. Wendy's suffered from that one. A lot of stocks suffered from the Ozempic, not pill, injector, pill, whatever it is, from the Ozempic crisis. But McDonald's with the monster recovery right back to the north side into all-time high territories with its earnings reports coming out pretty damn soon. So shout out to McDonald's over there. Earnings report pre-market. One thing we might have to do, something I didn't do, is do a little bit of research as to what time these stocks have their conference calls tomorrow. So let's start with Caterpillar. Caterpillar calendar earnings call at 8:30 a.m. Awesome. So let me just put that into my notes. Tomorrow 8:30 a.m. Okay, next stock, McDonald's, MCD, calendar. Close that. Calendar is 8:30 a.m. Perfect. So just copy that, paste over here. Last one, we have two more. ON Semiconductor, ON. Let's go see what time these guys announced their earnings call. Earnings call at 9 a.m. for these guys. So remind tomorrow 9 a.m. Oh, fine, tomorrow. Why did not work? There we go, 9 a.m. And last but not, two more actually, EL and TSN. This is probably going to crash for me though. It's going to ask me to pay for the services, which we're not going to do. So we're just going to refresh it, open another new, open another new incognito tab. That way we don't have to pay for any services. How to scam services by Prad. Calendar, let's go to calendar. 9:30 a.m. for these guys, not what we want to see, but okay. 9:30 a.m. for EL. Last but not least, this is actually the last one over here. Tyson Foods, what time is your earnings call? Hopefully before 9:30. Your is at 9 o'clock. Not bad, but usually I would like to see you guys coming out at 9 o'clock, or sorry, not 9 o'clock, sometime at 8:30 or before 8:30. That would be the best, but you guys are at 9. Hopefully you're done by 10 o'clock. We'll see what happens. Annual general meeting at 11 a.m. So I'm not sure what that means over there, but that's on the 8th February, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 5th of February, so a little bit later than the earnings calls, the annual general meeting. But tomorrow is 9 a.m. is the time period that we want to be careful for, as to the stock could bring in some extra volume after already having a report. Own it on the long-term account. Still cheapest of the fast food. McDonald's thinks opening new drink cafes too, but Kramer said it wouldn't beat on earnings. If Kramer said it wouldn't beat on earnings, most likely it will. Isn't that how it works? The big money will use it to move the market up. AMD on Tuesday is a volatile stock day traders love. AMD already reported, didn't it? AMD's not on Tuesday. It already reported. Pretty sure it reported last Tuesday. Yes. And it got smashed quite a bit. I wasn't happy watching AMD get smashed. But pop right back up though. Held that 170 area pretty damn well. And now we're pretty much back into all-time highs once again. I mean, AMD is resilient at the moment. Shout out to AMD. I love AMD. You guys know that. AHI should resume trading tomorrow regardless if they release a PR. Could see a 10x move if they see a dump off. News release. The release on AHI. I mean, if it happens, I'll wait for it, dude. I'm just not a penny trader. Not a penny stock trader. But if it moves, if it brings in some volume, maybe I'll care about it. But most likely I won't, because there's other stocks that I will care about, which are Caterpillar, McDonald's, ON, stocks that are reporting, stocks that actually have a catalyst that I know will be moving around and have a reason for me to watch, instead of just sitting there and praying and hoping that AHI will resume and AHI will open up and hopefully give me a 10x return. You know, I'm just not gonna care about hope and dreams and prayers and so on. I'm just gonna look at what's factual, what moves, what's their actual ATR, how can I take advantage within that ATR, are they bringing in more than relative volume? If it is, how can I take advantage of that extra relative volume instead of sitting there and just waiting for a stock to unhalt and open? Nothing wrong with doing that though. Nothing wrong with doing that. For anyone wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm just noting the ATR of all the stocks that I'm basically interested in for tomorrow. So to go through my watch list, QQQ's ATR 5.35. That one's actually increasing, I think. Oh, wrong button. I think QQQ's ATR, oh, wrong button again. I think QQQ's ATR is actually going up. SPY should be like 4.3. Yeah, 4.4 for the SPY. I know for a fact AMD's ATR has been going up. It was 5 something, then it went to 6 something. Now it's above like 7.1 last time we checked, but I'm pretty sure AMD's ATR now is probably like 6.9 or something. Let's go check out. This is Apple 3.59. Amazon, what is Amazon's ATR? 3.88. We got Meta next. Meta's ATR. I should have done this all before, but I'll be honest with you. I was busy playing Power World. Power World is sucking me up right now. I actually got it today. I only got it like I spent the hour into it, and the game's actually not bad at all. It's pretty fun. Spent an hour playing that game, and almost forgot that I had to go live today. Forgot that I had to create a thumbnail. I forgot I had to create a watch list. So last 10-20 minutes of before 6 o'clock, just spammed my watch list, spammed my, oh, it's back above it's back above 7 o'clock. Sorry, not 7 o'clock, it's back above 7 for ATR for AMD. Shout out to AMD. ATR still growing, I guess, because of how much moves it's been moving recently. So shout out to AMD for there. Possibly a bigger move coming in tomorrow. The stock has been moving around more than $4, $5, $6. I mean, I want to say $5 and $6. So successfully doing that every single day for the past few days, taking its ATR back above $7. QCOM ATR is 3.86. SMCI, I want to say this one's like $30-$40. Yeah, $34.46. I mean, SMCI has been moving pretty insanely recently. Meta moved damn near $50 on Friday, so that's why Meta's ATR is $14.55. It's a monster ATR for Meta. This one's Netflix. Netflix ATR is $14.76. 14.76. And last but not least, Tesla. I'm guessing you're at like 8.5. You're actually dropping Tesla, mainly because if you look at how Tesla moved for the last few days, it would make perfect sense as to why Tesla's ATR is dropping. The candles are lowering, and I think Friday or one of the days before Friday, no, it was on Friday, where just Tesla was just dead in these lows, was not moving at all, and you could have caught a beautiful long when it kind of break out on the bottom over there, kind of trapped people by breaking the previous low by only a few pennies, and then popping right back up, holding 182 strongly and going right back up to 187. That would have been a monster long to get into if anyone was watching on Tesla. Neil likes small cap movers. Well, I don't care what Neil likes. I don't trade small caps. I don't care what Neil likes. I mean, I love Neil, don't get me wrong, but that's shout out to Neil over there. I don't trade like him. ATR on the daily, yeah. AHI does have multiple 5x moves. Don't care. Since you like video games, Dumb Money on Netflix is about a game stock. I think I saw the Dumb Money on Netflix, but I didn't really like the documentary. I think it was like a useless documentary. One of those movies that was coming out recently, I forget what that movie was called. The Netflix documentary obviously sucked. Like, I'm sorry, but the Netflix documentary sucked. Was this the movie? This is the GameStop documentary, right? Eat the Rich or Netflix? Yeah, that was a Netflix documentary, Eat the Rich. That one sucked. GameStop, I think that was the movie. I don't think I've seen this movie. I think I wanted to watch this movie. Jordan Belfort played in this movie. This is something else. This is way before this. I don't know which one this one is. What the hell? But I'm pretty sure I've seen this one. Oh, no, I haven't. Maybe this was the movie that I wanted to watch. I think this was the movie I wanted to watch. Pete Davidson? Pete Davidson as the kitty guy? No. No, that's not. I forget what the kitty's name is. Roaring Kitty, whatever his name was. Was Keith Gill Roaring Kitty? He was Roaring. Okay, yeah, Keith Gill was Roaring Kitty. Pete Davidson played his brother. Got you. Paul Dano plays Keith Gill. Yeah, I think this is the movie I wanted to watch. This is on Netflix now. I guess I could watch it. Yeah, I could watch it for sure. It's entertaining, dumb money. Okay, yeah, I'll watch it. I just didn't like the documentary. It just felt so boring. But if the movie's good, if you're saying it's good, I'll put it on while I play Power World in the background or something. But I do have a lot of chores, man. I'm so embarrassed to show you what's going on in this corner. If I show you guys what's going on in this corner, you guys will look at me like an absolute degenerate. It's just like Diet Pepsi cans after Diet Pepsi cans, just trash after trash, plates after plates. I gotta clean this corner of my room up. I gotta do my laundry. My mom's sick, so I gotta clean up the house. I gotta do some work. I gotta do some work. So after the stream's over today, I'm gonna go get some work done. But I haven't been able to game, dude. I haven't been able to game. That's why, it's just like work, 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 work. It's all my life has been so far for starting of the year till now. It's wake up, go to work, come home, walk my dog, do the stream, which is again, another form of work, but I don't really consider it work. Do the stream for another hour, hour and a half. Then I'm spending another hour or maybe another 30 minutes or so, like doing more trading stuff, like moving my indicators, moving or doing some more ATR type based research. And then I get like an hour or so before every night to kind of play one game of Tarkov. And that too ends up taking like half the game ends up going into loading screen. So I don't really end up playing properly. And then I end up going to bed, wake up in the morning, and the whole week just takes off like that. And then the weekend I barely get any time to do anything. Then I have to do more work. Life is so busy. I wish I could just go back to being a kid. Anyways, let's get back to work here. You guys see basically how the watch list is setting up for tomorrow. People ask if the ATR is on the daily. Yes, this is the moves that how much a stock moves on the basic average true range. So on average, a stock moves, let's say for example AMD, on average it moves around $7 intraday from its high to low. If it moves anything more than $7, that could be an over one ATR move. Some people like to take a look at from previous close to where the stock is as its ATR as one separate indicator, and then you can use the intraday open to high to open to low, or the intraday high to low move overall, depends on what time of the day you're looking, as another ATR indicator on its own, because sometimes you'll see a stock that gapped up. For example, Meta already gapped up one ATR or more than one ATR worth of range on Friday after its earnings report, right? Using that information, you could have possibly got an opening flush long off of that if you were looking, or short off of that if you were looking for it, or did it even give you that? Let's go take a look at it. It did give you a little bit of an opening flush, but not really too much. You saw the buying come right back in, and then it boosts up to the north side. You can see how from the low till the intraday high, it was about $32, whereas Meta's intraday ATR is right about, I think, less than, today it says 14, but I think, I don't have to think actually, I can go right back into my watch list here and go pull up yesterday's watch list, see what Meta's ATR was. It was right here, $8.66 when this watch list was made, which was on February 1st. So on February 1st, we made this watch list for February 2nd. And back then it was 8 something. And now you're watching after the Friday's move, it is now $14 of an ATR. So clearly Friday's move affected this ATR quite a bit, and we're waiting to see if the stock can bring in $14 worth of move, or does it usually, it might just bring in an $8 worth of move, because that's what its original ATR was before this random big spike of $30 that the stock brought in. Now after it brings in about an $8, $10 or a $14 move from the high to low, does it show you some buying? Does it show you some some selling, you can kind of use this ATR to help you find a reversal point, or use the ATR to help you take profits if you're in the right direction, if you're in the trend of the direction of the stock that's in. Multiple ways to use ATR to help you in your trading. It depends on me. If I kind of miss the boat, then I'll use the ATR to kind of get a reversal. If I'm in the direction of the boat, then I'll use ATR to help me take profits and kind of maximize my profits on the stock. If I'm kind of a little bit late to the boat, but still, if I think that there's still some room or some direction, if I can just swim to the boat before it goes to the destination, kind of chase my entry, basically meaning if the stock has a $10 ATR, the stock has made about a $4 move so far, and it's about 10.30, and I think the stock could break the low a day and kind of get its $10 ATR move throughout the later off on the day, then maybe I'll take the low of the day break, look for that next $6 ATR move to the downside if the stock has basically only moved 4 ATR. But that also requires for me to see if the stock has a catalyst, if there was a reason for the stock to be trading, if the stock is in previous ranges, if it's breaking out of new ranges, and so on. And this is where my new scanner comes into play for trade ideas. So you guys always hear me talking about trade ideas, and I never really show you guys anything about trade ideas. That's because, you know, I never really had anything properly built that was mine. I was always just using scanners that trade ideas kind of had pre-built, their own scans that I didn't really have any modifications done to. So it felt like, you know, I'd just be cheating and kind of like lying to you guys if I showed you that. But hello, wait a minute. Where's my, there you go. So now, you know, you guys been hearing me talk about this Bella scalp method for quite a bit, and I've been dying to look for how to find the right trades to be involved into the Bella scalp. On Thursday, or on the day before that, I believe it was Thursday actually, we kind of walked through a PowerPoint. We walked through a PowerPoint to kind of find out how to identify the Bella scalp trade better. Along with the Bella scalp, what I found through my own observations was stocks that had actually gapped up or gapped down. For example, earnings plays, which usually gap up or gap down, or any stock that had some sort of a catalyst that gapped up or gapped down, which then meet our other criterias. Our criteria being, let's go to show you what my criteria is for the scanner. The stock A needs to gap up from previous close by at least 1% if we're looking for the longs. After the stock needs to be at least more than $2 or more. I don't want to trade a stock less than $2. That's once again, you know, one of the viewers over here wants to talk about AHI. I don't care about AHI. I'm not gonna buy no dips for stocks that are less than $2. I just don't care. Relative volume needs to be 3 or more. If the stock is doing less than 3 relative volume, the chances are it's just not in play. 2 is good, but 3 is better. What I've noticed is earnings stocks or stocks that are in play, usually off the open, are doing way more than 3. So if you want to be fancy, you can kind of filter for way more than 3, but I'm filtering for 3 or higher. The stock needs to be doing 300,000 shares off the open at the very minimum. If it's not doing 300,000 shares, the scanner will not pick up the scan, period. Time of day, it will wait for 5 minutes before looking for the criteria to be check marked, and then it will be scanned over here. The last but not least, the stock needs to have 5 consecutive 2-minute down candles off the open, or not off the open, but at any point off the day. It needs to make at least 5 consecutive 2-minute candles, and it needs to make a new low or a newer high. Meaning, if the stock is stuck in previous range over here and it's not really making a new low over here, look how it's popped up, but it's not really. Let me see if I can zoom in. you see how it's popped up, and this is a 2-minute chart, right? SMCI 2-minute chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 down candles. But imagine there was another down candle, it still wouldn't pick up on the scanner. It needs to have 5 down candles for it to be picked up on the scanner, and also be making a new intraday low or a new intraday high. So that's the criteria for the scan setup over here. This allows us to look for stocks that have gapped up and are kind of pulling back off the open on a systematic way. Either someone's scared or someone's dumping, and we're looking for the mean reversion, a pullback to VWAP, or maybe sometimes even a bigger trade than a pullback to VWAP. Now, I'm not gonna waste our time over here by kind of showing you guys, setting up each little time, each little date, because it'll just take too much time. I'll just quickly go here, do a quick little example of showing you what previous days trading signals look like, and then we can also talk about some of the other trading signals that showed up on my back testing that I spent over the weekend, and show you what those pictures look like for us. So quick example over here for the long trades at 946 all the way up to 947, we get a signal on a ticker called TBT. TBT is ultra short Lehman Brothers, ultra short Lehman 20-year treasury stock. The stock is alerted right over here at around 946 to 947 area. So you can see right there at 944, 946 or so. If you were to draw, how can I draw in a line? Thank you. If you were to draw, oh, that's maybe not something that I want to draw. Delete that. Bring that bad boy back in. If you were to draw a trend line, something like that. Oh, you can modify it after. Awesome. That's sweet. Right? Let's say you draw a trend line, something like that. Do I need to maybe zoom in for you guys over here? Yeah, we'll zoom in a little bit, right? Let's say you have a trend line, something like that. The stock is alerted at 946, 947, 947, 43. You pull it up, you analyze that the stock has gapped up in pre-market, has some decent volume in pre-market off the open also. The stock, however, intraday volume is not really the greatest, but it does show you some sort of a move over here. You draw your Bella scalp trend line. Now, after you draw your Bella scalp trend line, you wait for the stock to break the trend line. Here's where I am kind of changing my characteristics of entry, or my reasons of entry. The Bella scalp makes you enter a stock that is simply breaking the trend line. The break of the trend line, you enter and you set your stop at the 2 cent below the previous low, and you just wait for the stock to play out. You get a wave 1, you get wave 2, and then you get wave 3 somewhere in this area. That's what the stock tells you to do. We're kind of changing the original game plan and morphing it to kind of help us with finding stocks that can give us a little bit of a more swing approach, a little bit more of a swing trade, by scanning stocks that either gapped up or down, and then kind of including the Bella scalp with it. So not entering on the breakout of is there anything else that I could use? No, not text, but anything else that I could use? No. Okay. No. That sucks. Okay, well, not entering on the breakout of the trend line. Basically, after the stock breaks out, you wait for the stock to pull back a little bit. And here's 3 different scenarios that I've noticed, and I'll talk about all 3 different scenarios using examples. But right now, quickly, I'll just talk about those 3 scenarios. The first scenario, it goes up, pulls back, makes a higher low. Very bullish scenario. It pulls down first, goes up, pops up after breaking out. After breaking out, pulls back and makes a higher low. This is somewhere you want to be looking for along, with the stop at the low a day originally, at the stop at a new low a day, and then you wait and see what happens. You kind of study the tape. You wait to see if this previous top is rejected again. If the previous top is not rejected, then the higher low that we made is a little bit more validated. You can maybe take a little bit more size on the break of that area and then ride it up to the north side. Use other ways to exit. Maybe see if the stock is holding the 9 period SMA or the 21 period SMA. You can also draw another trend line from the bottom to the upside. See if the stock breaks that trend line to start covering some profits. Whatever your exit characteristics, your exit triggers are, you can use that. But that's the first little pattern over here. The second pattern is the stock breaks up, comes down, but makes the same low or makes a little bit of a newer low. The same low one is a little bit okay, but sometimes what the stock can do is it can make the same low and then pop up, at which point you could get scared. It could make the same low and then start ranging in this area, at which point it's taking way too long, but it might just work out for you eventually. If it's making enough of a base over here, it might just work out, or it might just keep ranging sideways, or it could break down too, obviously, but you want to be careful. But this will give you chances to kind of get out a little bit unhurt if it's just ranging sideways. And the other one is when it breaks down, makes a new low, but then pops right back up after making a new low. That one is a little bit more bullish than the one that makes the same low. So double bottom is great, but the one that kind of breaks the previous low, triggers the stops, and then pops up, you can enter that one too, now risking the new low that comes up over here, giving you a little bit of a better risk to reward entry than the previous one. But that setup is obviously requires a little bit of tape reading, a little bit of being more proactive, looking at the stock and kind of studying the stock a little bit more than you maybe were hoping to do so. But this is the first characteristics over here. It pops up on the scanner, you draw your trend line, you wait for it to break the trend line and then pull back, and then you analyze to see if the buyers are still there. If the previous buyer from here is still here, and if they're being a little bit aggressive, that's exactly what you want to see. But if the seller on the way down is being more aggressive by stuffing it down and showing you more selling by taking it through the previous low, then you save yourself by not even entering on the scalp itself. You save yourself the damage by not even entering on the scalp. Right? That is what I am starting to realize, and I'm kind of like playbooking that into my own separate way. I feel like we're able to take this Bella scalp over here and turn that into our own little playbook by including other aspects of what I've kind of studied and so on. Now, here is another stock that popped up, LESL. Let's go take a look at how this chalk looks. Take a look at this one. This one pops up on the radar a little bit too early almost, right? You see how this one, let's zoom in a little bit more that way. This one pops in right over here. 1 2 3 4 5, more than 5 red candles, but on the 2-minute chart, but nice 5 red candles. Stock popped up more than 1% in pre-market and then gapped up more than 1% and then starts to pull back to the downside. After it triggers 5 new red candles and makes a new low every single time, our alert triggers us the stock. Now we simply do what we said earlier, right? Draw your trend line. Let's do it from that high till that marker right there, right? From that low, from that high to that high gives us a trend line right here. Now, according to this trend line, you can see how the stock first pops up on the scanner, comes in over here, makes a little bit of a bottoming wick. That wick is exactly what the stock or the PowerPoint talks about. It talks about characteristics change, right? Characteristics change. You're seeing it go down, boom. You're seeing the volume on the way down not really increase as much either, and then finally breaks that trend line. Now, on the break of this trend line, we talked about you're waiting for a pullback to enter in. This one doesn't really give you a pullback. This is also a scenario that I actually forgot. One of those that doesn't really give you a pullback. You have two choices here. One, you can either take the entry on the breakout and have a stop over here, which is about a 20-cent stop for about a 40-cent winner to the north side. Good risk to reward at the end of the day. But if we're sticking to our somewhat of a revised game plan here, maybe you just don't enter the stock, because once it pops, it gives you an entry somewhere to enter over here, and then you basically get stopped out pretty damn close after the stock kind of fails to reclaim VWAP. Later on in the day, let's see if you, yeah, later on this day, the stock just does nothing for us. Why can't I zoom out? Oh, there you go. Later on in the day, the stock does nothing, but let's say you take the long somewhere in this area, right? Get long here with the stop right there. You get the pop. You just basically get stopped out at break even or lose a little bit and move on. But if you do take the long over here with the stop over there, that ends up giving you a decent trade. So this one ends up being somewhat of a nothing burger because originally the move is already back to VWAP. The first little pullback you're getting is before right into VWAP, so this stock is kind of not in the radar to enter, sadly. You can see how the scan keeps coming up to 955, which is right up to this area. CLX, the next stock that pops up on the scan, and one that actually shows up in one of those scenarios where we talked about where the stock could make a new low and end up being a better trade than previously. If you can understand the concept for this, right? Stock popped up in pre-market off of earnings. Actually, I think CLX was Friday earnings for CLX. Let's go take a look at this one. It was. So Friday was earnings for CLX. You draw the line. You draw the trend line. You can even put the trend line right there, right? You can even put the trend line right there, at which point it's actually not what we were thinking, where it makes a new low, right? Because it's a different trend line. But if you're on the 5-minute chart instead of the 2-minute chart, let's go back to the 2-minute chart. If you're on the 2-minute chart, your trend line would be a little bit different. But if you're on the 5-minute chart and your trend line was like this, then basically you wait for the stock to break out, pull back, get long. Your risk to reward, you're risking about 60 cents, let's say, from entry over there. You're risking about 60 cents, 70 cents. Your reward, $2.70. Reward is, at the end of the day, is really what? $3.60 for risking 70 cents. So monster risk to reward trade over there. And the stock shows us the alert. We get alerted. You draw out the trend line. Depending on how steep of a trend line you draw, you could even draw a trend line steeper like this in case you are one of those FOMO traders who are scared you're gonna miss out the trade, right? You could have a steep ass trend line like this based on how the alert popped up. The alert came for this down move right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down candles on the 2-minute and a steep trend line to the downside. You can draw the trend line over there. The trend line breaks, the stock pulls back, creates the same bottom with, or maybe even a newer low by a couple more pennies, going right back under 153, showing you that buyers at 153 have stepped back in. Let's actually show you also the ATR idea. The stocks moved from the intraday high to intraday low. At that point was $5.64. Clorox's ATR is probably $3.19. So already more than one ATR of a move. Will the stock really be doing more than 2, 3 ATR? The chances are low. Good earnings report pre-market after hours popped up. Pre-market held, pull back, hold in this area on a double bottom. Look for the long somewhere in this area. Your low is right below 153.89 at this point. You're risking barely anything and you're getting a monster move to the upside. And notice how those were the only scans that popped up on that day. The only scans that popped up for the long side. Now, for the short side, we get some other trades over here. Treasury trades. So nice little double top. It popped up on the scan. You could have had the marker, the line somewhere like this, right? The line somewhere like this. You wait for it to break out. It breaks out. It pulls back. A lower high comes in. Exact same thing, but vice versa. Lower high gives you a short. Stop right over here. A monster move to the downside. So let me show you now some of the back test examples that I got. I just showed you this TBT. You enter here, stop. exit when the stock pulls back to the 9 EMA and kind of shows you a little bit of struggle at the 9 EMA. You take a 33% out. The next 33% you can take out when the stock is narrowing out into the high a day over here, and the 21 period and the 9 period EMAs are merging. And right over here, when the stock clearly is now trading under the 9 period and the 21 period EMA, where you can cover your full trade. So monster trade over here on TBT according to the scanner on Friday. Here is LES. You could have gotten over here with the stop over there, but like I mentioned, this would have been kind of a no trade because we're waiting for stocks after they break the trend to pull back. But if you did have this trend line over here where the stock did break the trend, pulled back, held it for 2, 4, almost 6 minutes, so you could say about for 5 minutes it made a higher low. So in that 5-minute time period, you maybe could get in for a move into this area. First out near the test of the 9 period under VWAP, where the stock kind of struggles for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 minutes under VWAP. So somewhere on this period you can take out 33% and see if you need to take out more on a bigger flush down. And clearly when the stock doesn't flush down, you can take more out on the pops over there. So that is on LESL, but like we said, that one's most likely not a trade. Here's Clorox. If you entered on the first breakout, on the first consolidation of the breakout, you probably would have lost. But if you had a steeper trend line, then you would have not even entered because it never really broke out. If you had a steeper trend line, the stock would have basically went a little bit. I think I had a steeper trend line, maybe. Yeah, maybe not. I didn't have a steeper trend line. But if you had a steeper trend line, you would have entered over here. Your stop would have been over here. And look at that. You exit. You take back basically whatever you exited on these two lots with a new stop over here. And then that allows you to hold it a little bit above VWAP once the stock makes a higher low and shows you reclaiming of the 9 EMA and the 21 EMA. But honestly, I probably would not have punched this green area over here because it's so close to VWAP. The stock is clearly showing you that it's under today's VWAP. It's at 12 o'clock at the day, so probably not a time period where I'm adding to my trade unless it goes above VWAP and shows me buying above VWAP, at which point it's a lot more bullish. So I'm probably not doing that. Probably taking my 33 and my 33s out and just walking out of the trade at the end of the day. VGLT, like we were just talking about the trade idea scan. VGLT, wait for the breakout, wait for the pullback, your stop, your entry for the short, and your exit for the profits. DB, Deutsche Bank. This one, I forget what date it was. Actually, it shows you right here. This was on Thursday, the 2nd of February. Only few stocks popped up on the scanner. XXXX was some next ETF, and so was TBLA. So most likely you're not trading them when they show up. But Deutsche Bank pops up on the scanner. You can see how Deutsche Bank popped into pre-market, had over 1% gap, consolidated off the open, and then started its descent off the open for some reason, or not. I guess you could call it off the open, but this was around 11 o'clock. Started a monster descent at 11 o'clock to the downside for no reason. And then this is where you kind of draw your trend line. You draw your trend line at the move down over here. You wait for the stock to break that trend line. You can see how open image in a new tab. Is that not an image? Why can't I zoom in? Hello? Okay, there you go. You can see how the bottom of these candles are clearly showing you a bottoming out pattern. Those two candles over there are perfectly like those 2-bar breakout candles that you can enter into and kind of risk the bottom of the low. But our setup is a little bit more waiting for confirmation. So my confirmation comes from the breakout of the trend to the downside. We're playing the mean reversion back to VWAP, right? Break out of the trend. And then after breaking out of the trend, show me a pullback and create a higher low, same low, or a new low, but after making a new low, immediately popping right back up. Immediately popping right back up. If you're not doing that, then that's no signal for me to get in over there. So a new low coming in, signal to enter. Your risk is at that previous low, and now you're just waiting for your 3 waves. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. You're out. 3 waves and you're out. So monster trade on Deutsche Bank over there. Honeywell is also another scan that pops up, and if you look at Honeywell, stock gaps down over 1% in pre-market, opens much lower than 1%, pulls up, holds above today's VWAP, then it kind of breaks out to the pre-market area. This is where it gets alerted at 1034. That's around 1034 right there. You draw your trend line, you wait for the stock to break the trend line, and then you wait to get short. Sadly, no pullback to get short into, and no trade at the end of the day on Honeywell. So some examples over here that could have given you monster trades, and some examples where you have to be very, very quick to enter the trade, or you just kind of have to be okay with letting the trade go because you never really got a pullback, you never really got a lower high to come into, and other variables to kind of trade into. It does give you that immediate mean reversion to VWAP, but we don't get what we want to see to enter the trade, which is that higher low or that higher high after breaking the trend line. Here's an example for OLN on 26th of January. 26th of January, the scan would have popped up at 9:56 a.m. So right around over here, right before 10 o'clock, 9:56 a.m., you get alerted. The stock was an earnings play. Break of the trend line. The trend line breaks, gives you a signal to enter. Your stop at the low of that move. Nice little exits all the way back up. OLN on the 26th of January. TRV, this was on, I forget what date this was, but TRN shows up at around 11:30 or so, pretty late on in the day. Also an earnings play, or I think this was actually this was an earnings play. Notice how the stock gaps up and does all of its move throughout the open and never really triggers into our scanner because it doesn't do what we need it to do, which is 5 straight red candles to the downside on the 2-minute and making a new intraday low while doing that. And that's what the stock does over here. It does 5 straight red candles. It's at 11:30, lower volume at that time of the day, so even better to kind of understand and gauge what the stock is doing. Eventually breaks that trend line. After breaking that trend line, it does what we want it to do, which is makes a higher low. Exactly what we wanted to do, makes a higher low. Now you get long at what, 207 with our stop right at what, 206.50s. 50-cent risk over here, maybe a little bit more than 50 cents, you can say, depending on where our entry is, and your profit target's literally at 211, depending on how long you are holding the trade. Maybe not even 212, 211, but even if you're holding to VWAP for risking 50 cents, you're getting $2 out of it. So monster trade over there on TRN, and I'm very, very excited to see how the scan can help me find some of those trades in the near future. I mean, it feels like I kind of have something cracked down over here. One thing that is kind of fishy or question marky in my head is why it says signaling in the money. I feel like it's only filtering stocks that are in the money when it says that. So it might be some trade ideas filter that I don't know how to fix or something, because I can only pick a time frame, and no matter what time frame I pick, it says signaling in the money. So I feel like it's only giving me selected stocks. As you can see, I can only find 2 stocks for the whole day of Friday that are in my scan, which is pretty surprising. And then for the other side, there's only 3-4 stocks. If that's the case, and the stock or the scan only finds such limited stocks, then that's kind of gold, right? That's gold. We don't want to see a million stocks show up on the scans and really annoy the shit out of us to the point where we have to make decisions on too many stocks on the fly. But if it's only giving us a couple stocks, this is great. But I feel like this is maybe cheating me over here by only showing me the signals that are in the money when it says that it's only showing me in the money signals. So a little bit of a question mark over there as to what I'm looking at on trade ideas. Need to maybe play with it a little bit more. Need to obviously have a conversation with our good friend at Trade Ideas, Michael Noss. Maybe we can actually bring in Michael Noss for one of our streams over here. I'll try to set up something for next week, next weekend. Maybe next weekend Sunday, if Michael Noss is free, he could jump on the stream with us. He was actually helping me build a little bit for this scanner. So let me see if I can pull up his thing. No. His scanner though, it kind of brings in too many names in my opinion, which is why I didn't really like his scanner. I feel like there were just way too many names being blasted in my face, so I kind of just didn't really use that one too much. But here's what his scanner looks like for those of you who are wondering. Load from cloud. He really liked the Bella Scalp idea too. There you go. He really liked the Bella Scalp idea too, and he said the reason why he likes the Bella Scalp idea is because I'll read out exactly what he says. This setup is interesting to me because where is it? This setup interests me since I don't have a lot of time for day trading, but I could focus for the first 30 minutes, take a scalp and move on. And this could be the setup that's a one hit and run type of setup for the day. You don't really need too much for on the day if you can find those one or two trades like this, right? Imagine you get the setup like this coming in and you hit both of these stocks, VGLT and VCLT, both of these stocks, or even some of these TBT, LESL or CLX. You hit all of them at the same time and you manage them all properly and you do 10 out of 10. You don't really need anything else for the day because you basically found 4 stocks, 5 stocks on the day that gave you more than 2R. And if you're risking, your whatever your risk units are on the day, if you're risking 1 unit and 4 stocks on the day basically gave you 2 units, 4 units, 5 units, 8 units, 12 units. I mean, you're getting 12 units of risk for 4 units of reward for 4 units of risk. Your account just grew that much more on that day. There are some days though on the scans that when I back tested, I've seen no stocks pop up and no information pop up. Those might just be the days where you sit on your ass and you do nothing, right? Having the discipline, having the mental fortitude, having the power to just sit there on your hands, not pull a single trigger is something that all traders need to build. Maybe you can go put other setups to work. Maybe you can build other setups out there. But right now, since I've been working on this setup for quite some time, and once I've actually, I feel like I've built the scanner that I want to scan and the stocks that I want to scan for, I feel like I'm very, very excited to see how the scanner can help me going into tomorrow, especially on stocks that are reporting such as Caterpillar, McDonald's, ON Semiconductors, Tyson Foods, some of the stocks that are already reported and are probably going to gap around, such as Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, and so on. So I'm very excited to see what type of stocks the scanner shows up, and then what type of stocks we can trade off of these scanners tomorrow. And hopefully you guys are excited to see how I trade them, because I'll be talking about them on stream tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So make sure you pull up tomorrow at 8 p.m. At which point we'll talk about all the stocks that popped up on the scanner, how I traded them, how I could have possibly traded them better, and how my day went boom or my day went yeah baby. Nothing really else besides that to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I basically just wanted to showcase my work on the weekend over here, how much effort I put into building that scanner, all these screenshots over here that I kind of built the examples for you guys to talk about. Couple things to actually talk about real quick over here is the economic calendar, which is a little busy tomorrow on the Monday. 9:45 we have the PMI coming up, and the 10 o'clock we have the ISM non-factoring number coming up. Those are a little bit important, with the FOMC obviously coming out and saying that they're not looking to cut rates until March or May, should I say. We are waiting to see if some of these numbers can help them facilitate that date a little bit quicker. We don't know if that will happen, but we just have to wait patiently, and some of these numbers will help us to see if that will be beneficial, meaning the rate cuts are even more likely, or if the rate cuts are more unlikely to happen. So you have to be a little bit patient for that one. 10 o'clock tomorrow and 9:45 tomorrow for the economic calendar. The IPO, I believe, is on... Where's my damn IPO calendar? Too many tabs. There it is. IPO calendar. IPO, I believe, is on the 7th. It is AHR, kind of like AHI, but not AHI. AHR, American Healthcare REIT, supposed to open at $12 to $15. 56 million shares being offered with a $966 million offer amount. There was another interesting IPO, but I think that one kind of not really as interesting anymore. But this is on the 7th of February, so 2 more days, I guess 3 more days technically. So we'll talk about this one closer to that date. I most likely won't even be able to trade that because from February 6th till February 22nd, I have to get home a lot earlier to take care of my dog. So sadly, I'll be home. I mean, I'll leave work probably 12:30, and I'll be home by like 1:30 to take care of my dog. If I'm leaving work at 12:30, I'll probably be home at 1:32, to be honest. So I'll be home by 2 o'clock, take care of my dog, let him out to pee, then feed him and everything. So from the 6th till 22nd of February, I won't be having much trading. I might even honestly just take some of these days and just stay at home, because it doesn't make sense to travel for 2 hours, go trade for 2 hours, and then travel back for 2 hours. It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. So some of these days I might just stay at home. I might go for the days where the earnings calendar is a little bit more busy. Like, for example, I'll go all of this week most likely, because the earnings calendar is very busy all of this week. But depending on next week or the week after that, if the earnings calendar is not really too busy, I might take a day or 2 off. That way I don't really spend too much time traveling back and forth for no reason. But after 22nd, once again, I'll be able to be back to regular schedule when it comes to trading and so on. None of this actually matters to you guys, because my trading or my streaming schedule will still be the same, so you guys don't have to worry about that. My streaming schedule will still be the same, so we'll be able to talk about all fun things over there. But yeah, guys, we pretty much covered everything I wanted to. Nice neat little watch list for tomorrow. Apple, Amazon, Meta, and everything. I'll put the notes in and the levels that I'm interested on these stocks for tomorrow in pre-market, for those of you interested on that notes and the levels of interest. You can get that watch list sent out to you in pre-market by subscribing to me on Patreon, by becoming a member to me on Patreon, by supporting to me on Patreon. You can also support me by checking out the affiliate sponsors who help this stream be alive. One of them being Trade Ideas. You saw me use Trade Ideas today. You can also use Trade Ideas to build fun scanners like that by using code PRAD15 at checkout and using the link right down below in the description. So go check out Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga. Also my affiliate sponsors, so go check them out. That'd be amazing. All my social media links are also down below in the description. Go check them out too. That would be great if you haven't already. We're Twitter, Discord. We're usually a lot active on those 2 areas for trading. So if you guys want to be interested as to what we're doing in the trading world, you might want to check out Discord and the Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll wish you guys a monstrous Monday. Ooh, I like that. Monstrous Monday. Get it? Wish you guys a monstrous market Monday, and I will see you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Wish you guys a great night. See you guys. Wait, am I? Yeah, okay, yeah. Good night. See you guys Monday. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Thank you for coming by. Let me do the good night ritual over here. Bang, 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 and
You are not
bang.
like other carbon-based life forms. You put the value of all life above your own.
It's how things should be. It's how they could be.
I could not agree more. The world can be one together, cosmos without hatred, stars like diamonds in your eyes. The ground can be space, 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 with feet marching towards a peaceful sky. All the moon men want things their way, but we make sure they see the sun. Goodbye, moon man. You say goodbye.